but the mother of all segments is here. You've been asking for it for so long. And the guys from Sircles are here. That's Sircles with an S. I describe it as the social media positivity app. John, who you actually met as the CEO of Tech to You. It's all part of the same family, is here. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
And Danny, the COO of Tech to You, is here as well.
Good morning.
And we're going to talk about everything that you guys have been wanting us to talk about. For those of you that are like, what the hell is Sircles? Well, we call it the Yelp killer. It's a social media app, but it's not social media, because the whole idea is to stay away from all of the yuck. So like a lot of us, when in the old days, at least it's going to be the old days when we're done with Sircles, you do things like you go to Yelp and you have to deal with, first of all, Yelp is so dishonest and they shake down people and they shake down the corporations and the companies, and then you have to deal with all these reviews, and you don't even know if the reviews are legitimate. You're total strangers are putting, sometimes waitresses that work at the restaurant are just bragging about how great the restaurant is, and other times people that have never been to the restaurant are just saying the restaurant's terrible because they don't like the political views of the owner. So what Sircles is let's say you follow me, you follow the entire show because you trust us, you listen to us. And because we all have our little circle of friends and we have our circle of trust. And so, what is that restaurant that Rob was talking about that he loves in Reno that's Mexican? I don't remember. You just go to my profile and you just go to the restaurants thing and you go to the category, you go to Mexican and you go Reno, oh, there it is. Now, good, perfect. And the point of that is it's coming from me. Because if it's on there, I'm recommending it. And if there's a restaurant that you're thinking about going to and you go to my profile and I don't have it on there, that only means one of two things. I've never been, or I hate it. But I'm not recommending it. So you decide, do I want to take a risk or don't I? Because Rob either hasn't been or he doesn't like it. But I'm not sitting there going, yeah, this is terrible. And there are endless categories. We're going to talk about all of that. I always double check my work. Even with the company I'm involved with. I'm on the board of directors of Sircles. But yesterday, I just really quickly Googled Sircles, and I landed on our LinkedIn page. And I loved the way you guys wrote this description. Different way of putting what I just tried to do. A recommendations app for sharing your favorites among your friends and the people you trust. We are a platform built from the ground up to disallow negativity and only promote positive interactions. No more anxiety scrolling through your feed, hoping you don't run into your crazy uncle's political views. I thought that was perfect. How'd I do with the description so far of what Sircles is?
Spot on.
Excellent.
All right. So the reason I'm calling this kind of the mother of all visits is we've been getting emails. We've been doing this for a few years, and we've got a lot of investors listening. A lot of you maggots invested years ago, quite honestly. Some of you want to invest more. We've got people interested that are still getting into. They're starting to hear about this for the first time. Or I know a lot of you over the last year or so have been like, oh, I missed. Now I'm regretting this. I should have. I hear more and more people bitching about Yelp. I should have gotten Okay, we're going to address all of you, and I promise. Every time John and Danny have been on so far, it's always been when is the app going to be ready, and it's always been soon, a few months. We will tell you before 9 a.m. exactly when, where, and how. Some of you already know how. When, where, and how you can get the brand new extraordinary version of Sircles. And with that said, let's talk about the newest version. So if people have seen the beta and all of that, they have the comparative. If they've never seen it, they get to hear now. So I alluded to first, like the categories, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I forget the exact number, but there were like half a dozen or something when we started, and we were talking about adding all sorts of categories. So again, we just keep using the same example. If you're following somebody on the show you trust, or we all follow each other, kind of thing, it's what categories have we added for things that like, oh, I want to do things.
I mean, it's everything you can think of. We went through thousands of categories because Yelp has a bunch, Google has a bunch, and just collected everything and organized it under main categories. Like you got your food, your auto, your home services as main categories. And then Danny and I personally mapped close to 2,000 subcategories under all those. And so it's really well organized. We have everything covered because that was one of the questions people had is like, how do I get my business under this? And even the obscure ones, literally everything you can think of, you can search for and find. So,
and you just throw out auto. That's the perfect example. There are so many things, right, where you go, oh, I need this. I know no one who knows anybody. You start texting all your friends. Hey, does anyone know? There's certain categories that I have had no luck with over the years. House cleaners. Landscaping, right? And you ask contractors, they all suck. And so instead you start going, okay, who do I know? Who do I trust in my area? And sure, it's fine to text a friend, but isn't it easier to just go boop, 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 I follow Josh and he lives near me, and oh, look who he uses. Right. All right, let me ask you
quicker.
This. Why did this take so long, and was it worth it?
Well, short answer, it's been actually pretty fast from how long we went from the last fundraise we did to where we are today. We had to hire the best engineers because the first version was really put together. I like to say like cardboard and bubble gum. It was kind of basic. It was not built to scale. It was really to prove a concept and build a community around it, which we did a great job. Thanks to everybody that's been supporting us. So from there, we raised a good amount of money through our crowdfunding campaigns, and we put our heads down. We hired some incredible engineers, and we spent the last year and a half or whatever it is, just polishing and perfecting, getting the feedback from our users. And it takes time. It's there's been so many curveballs thrown at us. Even
we actually rewrote the entire app from scratch.
Which means what?
We rebuilt it.
So
we
you-
had a
you-
blueprint.
We threw it away?
we started over.
We had the blueprint still. We saw how people were using it. We had the log cabin. We tore it down. Then we built the skyscraper.
Yeah.
Well, and this thing is, I mean, I love that analogy because, okay, log cabins are great.
Yeah.
And it was a very comfortable log cabin. I mean, this thing is the newest high-rise in Manhattan. And I'm overselling it because when you guys showed it to me at a board meeting months ago, I was blown away. The graphics, the graphics alone are night and day.
It's alive. Yeah. We brought it to life, and it's fun. It's gamified. It's got points and levels, and so it's a far cry from the last version.
And the points and the levels, and we've got this whole rewards program as well.
Yes.
And how does, like, is that people hear that, gimmick? What's that mean?
Oh no, this is perfect. It's a virtuous circle, if you will, between the businesses and the consumers who are using the app, because the businesses are offering local rewards. We've got some great partnerships. We've got California Sun in there. We've got some really good rewards from them. We got Orange Theory Fitness.
Oh, wow.
You can get your haircut. You can actually get a free case of Happiest Hour. If
A
you
free
level.
month of RADTV.
Yeah. So really good rewards. So
And they get rewards by, like, what? Adding friends or having people follow them, or
Leveling up, there's a 10-level system, and inviting friends, adding favorites, checking in to movies, shows, different things.
in other words, it's not a lot of work. I mean,
No.
it's nothing.
No, and one thing I've never liked about apps is they have these levels and these rewards, and they look really good, but then you read between the lines and they're like impossible to get the good ones. You got to like walk 100 miles a day to get the Amazon gift card, and it's just unrealistic. Our rewards are totally achievable. We made it that way on purpose because we want to reward the businesses and the users of the app and make it fun. And of course, it attracts more users and investments for us, so it's going to help us grow.
And people don't have to bother with that. If people are like, I just want to know what my friends and what the Rad Show likes.
For sure. Yeah,
just
exactly.
do that.
Yeah.
Just use it for that.
It's a much better app if you have your friends in it, but we wanted to make it fun in single player mode if you don't have your friends in it.
So and this is not it. Obviously, we're there. Like I said, I'm going to tell you before 9 a.m. how you can access the newest version of Sircles. I almost hate saying the newest version because this is the version.
This is it.
But there's going to be polishing.
Yeah, endlessly. Absolutely. I mean,
That's with any app, right? They'll be like, you have to update or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah,
It's
they're always
never
fixing
finished.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll all, and there's a big piece too that we're still working on that we were hoping to get done today. We were up a lot of late nights. It's going to bring it all together. It's a new way of doing a group chat. It's group chat like you're all familiar with. Everyone does group chat on their
Yeah.
phone. Send a message and add a few people.
love group chat.
Ours is super familiar, easy to use, just like that, with a little twist, makes it a little bit more organized. We're going to have topics. So when you share something, let's say a movie or a show or my favorite dentist, whatever, you share it, the group is talking about it. Oh, I need a dentist. I got a cavity. Or I've seen that movie, or I haven't seen that movie. Whatever it is, it's organized under these topics. And then the topics stay at the top. And the most recent ones that are messaged on move to the front, kind of shuffle their way to the front.
Oh, I
the
like
older
this.
ones shuffle back. We're getting a patent on this because I've never seen it before.
I love this.
It's all on one screen. It's super easy, simple, organized, and we can't wait.
Wow.
It's kind of cool. It sounds like you guys took like a chat board and mixed it in with Messenger.
Kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so again, it's familiar. It's not like you have to learn some new. It's like just like the SMS group messaging on your phone, easy to start.
And again, to be clear, when I tell you how you can get Sircles with an S, you won't see that. But this also goes back to the, oh God, Sircles guys, so we won't hear from them for another year. Okay, no, you guys will be back. I don't know if you both come next Friday.
Yes.
And by then we hope part of the big day will be that the messenger is in effect.
I really hope so. We're so close.
There'll be other things that we will be announcing and updating next Friday. So the Sircles guys will be back then. So you've talked about all these improvements, and I think during one of our meetings, John, you basically said, okay, we are now ready to push it to millions.
Yes.
We haven't been. We've been using our beta group, our circle group, but one of the ways that in addition to everything that you've added in, one of the ways we know that we're ready is this sorority rush week thing that you guys have been doing kind of under the radar.
Yeah, we're finally getting into the fun part of this. This year, we're looking forward to the fun stuff, getting out of the engineering weeds. And yeah, we did this experiment. We released it at Sacramento State University, and we had a sorority showdown. It was amazing how much positive feedback and support we got from all the sorority girls, fraternity guys coming into the app, using it on a daily basis. It's so much more advanced than it was before. Like in the past, it was a lot more difficult to add favorites, add your friends, and add photos and all that stuff. Now we had this huge community at Sac State using it every single day, adding pictures, adding people to the circle of trust, adding favorites, all kinds of activities. So, and the feedback's been tremendous. So we feel like we've really proven this concept, and now we're ready to very soon going to be pushing this out to millions of people and doing the fun stuff this year.
One of the stories you told me, just in terms of the excitement, I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, look, we can see that they're interacting with, but we had them chanting our name at one point.
Yeah, Sircles. Yeah, it's been awesome to have their support, and it also taught us a lot about how we can scale this to multiple universities across the country. It's kind of like the playbook from Tinder and Bumble. They did the same thing with the Greek system, which is their fraternities and sororities. They kind of had an insider, their CEO and founder, and they went campus to campus and built it out through the universities. Facebook did something similar too. We're going to do the same thing. We've hired some fraternity guys and some sorority girls. They are really, really great communicators, really, really supportive of what we're doing. And we're going to just scale this model to universities all over the country and get them in. And I mentioned that group chat. That's perfect. It's like tailor-made for larger groups too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their events are not really that well organized. We've been helping them with a lot of events and stuff and promoting and sponsoring. But this will help a lot with them being able to keep everything organized in topics, meeting at this time, et cetera, et cetera.
One of the things I love about the way you guys have done this is you have basically looked at all of these successful apps, social media apps, and you've borrowed in many cases the best of what they did, and in some cases made it a lot better. And so and this is a theory that I love. We talk about it on the show all the time. If somebody has done something well, talk to them, look at what they do, and then go, how can we do that better? Oh, and look at what they do wrong.
Absolutely.
And don't do it.
You're talking about the group chat and the group chat and how it's organized. One of our goddaughters just went off to college in Southern California, and she just joined a sorority, and she will freak out over that because she has literally been organized her whole life, and everything has to be categorized in a certain way. Like that would just sell her already.
One of the other things from the sorority rush week experiment was that when in one of our board meetings, John, you were talking about the reaction, and Danny, you were talking about the metrics and the engagement. It was way beyond your expectations. And I know you guys set realistic expectations, and I mean, it was way beyond. And I mean, I could see the excitement and the enthusiasm when you were seeing the engagement that was going on there.
Absolutely.
And which brings us to why we know we're ready to pop this thing out, which I will tell you how to do in a few minutes. Now, we're talking to a lot of different people here, right? As I alluded to, there are people like us that have already invested, and they're sold on the product, and now they're hearing the update, and they want to invest more. There are people who are hearing this for the first time, or like I said, they've been left behind and they've never invested, and they want to invest more. And there's a lot of you that just don't care and you want to hear about the app, and there's some of you going, well, why do you need money? We're going to get to all of that. But if you're already like, just tell me how I can get more in on it. I want to be in on this. I don't want to be the guy that missed insert app here that made billions of dollars. So before we get into the why and the what the money is going to go for and where and when you can get the app, we'll just tell those of you that are already interested about what I think you're calling, Danny, the early bird special.
The early bird special. The first $400,000 invested in this campaign gets a $26 million valuation.
Which means what?
It means you get slightly better terms. Once the first 400K comes in, it's going to jump up to 30. We started at 4 million years ago when our friends and family invested. Now we're raising at 26 million. So on paper, it's about 6x.
So what's a valuation for people that are like, what does that mean?
A valuation is the value of the company.
So our company's worth $26 million?
On paper.
Yeah.
On paper.
Let's make sure we couch with everything with all this is on paper. The idea obviously is at some point we all get paid off with what's called a quote exit, right? So, and this is the startup game that's played. Most startups are going to lose, let's face it, and it's a risky investment. Everyone needs to understand that. If you put your money in, do not put more money in than you're willing to lose. That's very important. But if you are one of those people that likes high risk, high reward, the reward is incredibly high for the ones that do make it, think of like Amazon, Netflix, and some of these massive companies that none of us here were allowed to get in on early. It's a closed network on Wall Street, but not anymore. This whole crowdfunding thing has flipped the script. It's kind of a new concept, and so we've taken advantage of it. We want to stick with it. We'd like to avoid getting venture capital, but again, the game is played with. You start at a low valuation, you keep building your product, you raise money. As the valuation goes up, just like any stock price goes up, you make money along the way.
So on paper, Danny, way back when this started and I invested, we were worth $6 million ish on paper. $4 million on paper. Now you're saying that on paper, those shares that I have are worth $26 million. So the early bird special, if you get in now, you're getting in before we're suddenly worth $30 million.
Correct.
And so you're making your dollar go farther if you do the early bird special.
That's right.
But the early bird special, once we raise $400,000, which who knows? I mean, last
we're
time
already maybe halfway there.
I mean, last time we did this, we shut down WeFunder for a while.
Yeah.
So the easiest way, and what's the minimum? Because I mean, a lot of people are like, well, come on, I can't. John's talking about one of the reasons we can't get in on this is we're not millionaires, kind of thing. So what? How? I mean, at the very least, to get in.
The minimum is $250.
Okay.
And there's a ton of information on WeFunder. I recommend everybody goes to WeFunder.
Just go to radradio.com. It's the easiest way to go. It's splashed on our homepage. You go to radradio.com, you click it, and you get right to the Sircles WeFunder page.
Perfect.
And it's all written there. I mean, if you want to really dive in, all the details.
Everything, all your questions can be answered there. Lots of little videos and whatnot.
I always think about all you mentioned Amazon and Netflix, and just we can name a million that we all look at them now, but for every one of those, there was a time people were like, no, what? I don't know. And it's hard to think about that once we already know something and it's established and it did well. But like all these things, as you said, right? There's risk, but the reward is so great. And that's how it was for those companies as well. Yeah.
This is an interesting question that we can answer to kind of also just explain all this. Lisa wrote in, she was an initial investor, and she said, if we already invested, do we get that $26 million valuation? So that's kind of what I was alluding to.
That's a great question.
My question with Danny. And now my mind, tell me if this is totally wrong, John. What that means is if we had something to sell, quote, it'd be worth $26 million, but that's why it's on paper sort of thing.
Right. But and that's a great question, Lisa. So yes, you have gotten in before we got to this valuation cap. So you are already ahead. Your dollars went further. You own more equity than anybody investing today and anybody investing tomorrow, because shortly we anticipate the early bird special is going to be burned up. And then it goes to the 30 million valuation. If we keep going on the trajectory we expect, we want to do a $50 million valuation, then 100 million, et cetera. We want to keep just basically doubling our valuation as we have until someday we get this quote exit, which we can get into.
Got an email from Sharon here. You can email RAD@radradio.com. Phone number is 888-989-9811. We're talking to the guys from Sircles with an S. Sharon says, wow, this sounds just like how a small app called Facebook started, giving it to the universities.
Exactly.
We all know how that turned out. It's so very exciting.
Exactly.
So if you're already like, okay, I've got to, whether you want to invest or whether you want to get more information, go to radradio.com. It's right there on the homepage. You go to the WeFunder page, and they can use credit card or whatever just to give us the $250 or whatever more.
Yes,
okay, which brings us to the obvious question, John, whether it's existing investors, skeptical people, haters. Why do we need more money if I'm about to announce that you can get the app, or when you can get the app and how you can get the app?
Oh, of course. Well, of course. Let's not be shy about it. Startups need money. We're fully transparent about our needs and our expenses. And as Danny mentioned, everything's on WeFunder, our audited financials and everything that you need to know. But engineers are expensive. And to build an app like what we've built, and you'll judge for yourself. When the time is right and you're able to see it, you're going to see what all the hard work we put in. You're going to see how much goes into this. And we haven't even started marketing. I mean, this is the time now. We want to take this national. We take this international. We want to spend some of these funds not just on the engineering anymore, but now we're going to finally start getting the word out. And we've got a bunch of marketing campaigns lined up, like starting right about now. We're going to start pushing this to all over the country and then international.
So a part of this too is that it's people see us like, okay, so what you're just getting rich off of us.
Oh, none of this goes in our pocket yet. I mean, we take a very small salary. I made more at Tech2U and in my real estate career prior to this. So no, we're going to cash out when everyone else cashes out. We're in this for the long run, just like everybody else. We have made a huge amount on paper, but it doesn't do us any good until we all get to do this exit.
Now, you alluded to it here, but you've been talking to me a lot that we just want to be honest about how the game is played.
Yeah.
And what is the game and how is it played? And we're playing it, and we decided in our board meeting we're just going to tell people how this works.
Yeah, and I was kicking this around of like just pulling back the curtain on Wall Street and just being fully transparent. And if you go to our WeFunder updates, you'll see we give regular updates constantly. Every couple months, we're talking about all the good and bad that's going on, and fully transparent. And let's be real about how this game is played on Wall Street. As I mentioned before, you kind of had in the past had to be an insider on Wall Street and kind of know people and have big deep pockets to get in on early. Now that crowdfunding is around, the game is totally different. But in the startup world, especially in app world, digital marketing, and anything software related, because you don't have to build a factory or invest a whole bunch of capital and equipment, you can grow exponentially fast. So these startup companies like ours, like the Snapchats of the world, the Ubers, the gig economy, they raise a bunch of money and they just race and grow as fast as you can. Snapchat to this day is still in the hole, $5 billion. It's not like they have paid back this money, but it doesn't matter because everyone who got in early, all the early investors, the founders, all of them at the early stage, kind of like where we're at right now, have made a killing. So
how does that work? So let's back this up because I've talked about this for years. I use Twitter as the example. So Snapchat as an entity has never made a profit of any kind.
I don't think they've ever made a true net income profit. I think,
and yet all of the people that we're in at the stage that we're in at Sircles, they're all worth millions, if not billions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
How does that happen?
Oh yeah, that's the scale. That's if we pool the money together, think of GameStop. Like think of the phenomenon that happened. The community pools money together. You had millions of people taking billions of dollars off of billionaires because of the power of the community.
We want to do that to Yelp.
Exactly. So, if let's say we had $1 million people put in $250. That's $250 million we could raise. Now that gives us millions of soldiers against our competitors like a Yelp. And that's not that unrealistic. And those million people, they all become users. So it's an incredible virtuous circle in terms of loyal users become investors become loyal users, and I call it riding the escalator. We just keep adding investors, adding users, and stepping up and up and up.
And that theoretical $250 million that we raised, the reason that's such good news if you invested $1,000 today is that $250 million is used to accomplish our goal of killing Yelp and becoming a valuation company of, who knows, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions.
We want to be billions. We don't consider it a success if we're not billions of dollars. Yelp is worth $3 billion. And they're tiny compared to like Twitter that sold for a huge amount. Facebook's like $1 trillion almost dollars. They actually crossed $1 trillion. We don't need to be anywhere near $1 trillion. But if we got even close to like where Twitter was when Elon Musk bought it, that's like 1,000 times increase from where we are today. That means $1,000 investment is worth $1 million, which is insane.
That is insane.
So back to this. So you invested, $1,000 today. We're at a $26 million valuation. We use this $250 million hypothetically to keep raising our valuation until we're worth $1 billion. So This is all theoretical.
It's all on paper.
It has to happen, kids.
Yeah.
But if it does, so that $1,000, at $26 million valuation, oh my God, it's now worth $1 billion. Just do the math in your head. I mean, you can do it on paper if you want. But that's, and again, only if you're comfortable. And I think when you see the app, which I'll tell you how to do in a few minutes, I think you'll be more than comfortable. In fact, let me just do a couple of email questions, rad@radradio.com. And you can also call us, 888-989-9811. We're talking to the guys from Sircles with an S. Amanda wrote in, said, sorry if I missed this when I was taking my daughter to school. I invested way back when you guys started. Can I invest again if I have already invested, and how does that work?
Yes, you can. You just go to radradio.com, click on the big billboard right there on the screen that takes you to WeFunder, and just type in whatever you want to invest. Use a credit card.
And up until the next 400,000, it's an early bird special, and then the valuation goes up. And so you're still getting in after the early bird special. Your dollar's just not going to go quite as far. I mean, it's going to go really far if we hit our goals. But Matt just wrote in. He said, I just invested $10,000 to catch the early bird special. Nice. But to avoid the fee, I had selected it would come straight out of my bank account. Will my early bird be locked in as the funds take 5 days to proceed?
Yes, it will.
It should be.
Process, rather. Yep. Okay. Oh, now this is an interesting question from Vicky. She said, I invested a few years ago, yay me. But I've always wondered, once it's up and running, how do you get your investment back / cash out if you want to?
Yeah, and we touched on the exit, the quote exit. So let's talk about that for a second. And this is a common word in the venture capital world. The venture capitalists are all looking for an exit. They want to get their money in, they want to get their money out, and just like this audience member, and same as a lot of our investors are wondering the same thing. How do I get my money out? And that's a great question. So ultimately, we're looking for that quote exit. And that usually happens one of two ways. We go public, which is like we list our shares for sale on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ stock market. And then your shares are liquid. And that's considered an exit. So you can now sell your shares to anybody out there in the public that wants to buy them, presumably at a much, 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 much higher valuation than we are today. That's one way to exit. The other way is we sell the company to a partner that's aligned with us. We would never sell to like a Facebook or a Yelp, but like maybe a company that has the same core values, and say they buy us for a whole bunch of money, and that's an exit because then they're buying all the shares. They're buying my shares, your shares, everybody's shares, and so that's also an exit, and presumably again much, 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 much higher than where we are today.
Email us rad@radradio.com if you're already ready to invest in Sircles. You want more information, just go to radradio.com, click the homepage, takes you right to the WeFunder page with all of the details there. Kaylee wrote in and said, what is the deadline to invest?
We're going to keep this campaign open into perpetuity. We're going to raise up to $5 million in this round, and then who knows, we may extend it and go up to $75 million from there. It's
just a matter of when you choose to get in, knowing that if this all goes the way we hope it does, the sooner you get in, the further your dollar goes when we're done. And I know a lot of this sounds like we're doing a PBS fundraiser drive, but John, you and I were talking off the air earlier in the week that part of this is, can you imagine if we, and I know for you it's not an imagine, this is your life work. If we get to where your goal is, we are talking about literally at this point hundreds of maggots that we are going to turn into millionaires if it works.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, because our average investment is $1,000. I would just be overjoyed to have thousands of millionaires in our community. It drives us every day. It motivates us. And we've had some of our good friends invest a lot of money. We've had employees invest a lot of money. So there's this huge responsibility on our shoulders, and it drives us and motivates us. And it's inspirational. So yeah, that is our goal at the end of the day.
By the way, I think it's the same question as the email we just got a few minutes ago, Danny, but Angelica just wrote in and said, I just went to invest and it says it could take up to 5 days to clear. What if the valuation is hit before my deposit clears? So I guess some people, depending on how they're investing, they have to wait a few days and they want to make sure, well, wait a minute, I'm doing the early bird. I don't want to, it comes in, now we're worth 30 million or whatever.
Yeah, if you invest now, you should be part of the early bird special.
And the other thing too, John, we were talking about, the Wall Street game, and usually people don't even have access like this. And I want to go back to that example because I think it's a really powerful one of, let's say we raise $250 million and how that's so helpful because then we really can kill Yelp and we can kill them quicker. And we can become valued to the point where your $1,000 worth $26 million right now is going to be worth, who knows, $100 million, $500 million very quickly. Because of that, we are still approaching some investors. And I love the way it's kind of, it's like, yes, we are going to go to multimillionaires or billionaires. I know you already have. You can explain whatever you want about that. And we're going to get them to invest. Yes, we're giving them access too. Great. They raise the value of the company. Right. And so basically, I forget how we phrased it. We were talking earlier this week, but it's kind of like everyday people are actually taking money from billionaires.
Yeah, yeah. That whole GameStop phenomenon was really cool to watch, and that's the power of the community pooling their money together. And so yeah, we're doing that through crowdfunding. But yeah, we're going out to New York soon, and we're meeting with some New York Wall Street investors as well. And so we're quite literally, if you're investing today, you're literally getting in before Wall Street. And we'll see where this goes. We have some meetings lined up. We had a Wall Street firm invest in us already, and that was a great pledge to us and support. So we're not opposed to taking the money. Now, this is going to be different. It's more like family firms. This isn't like the traditional venture capital we're looking at right now. So more like the guys in New York, the numbers they throw around are insane compared to like what we're used to here.
Sure.
It's like, oh yeah, he only writes a small check. Yeah, it's $1 million.
That's
so I'm
a
like,
small
wow,
check.
okay, that's a small check. Okay,
like
cool.
$20 is a small check.
Yeah, so we're on the radar, and we're meeting. I was in Aspen, Colorado, at an investor gathering recently, meeting with high net worth individuals, and we're actually going to meet with some more of them again We have some follow-up meetings going on next week in New York. Looking forward to that. But everybody loves the concept. Who doesn't love an app about positivity that's sharing among your friends? There's no more negativity or toxicity in this type of product.
Yeah.
We get to avoid all that.
So to that point, let's let everybody see the damn app. So this is the version of Sircles that we are ready to push out to millions is available right now.
It is. It actually is. Surprise.
Yay!
Exciting.
You actually been around for a few days. We want to tell you. So it's as simple as, correct me if I'm wrong, App Store,
Yes.
Circles with an S,
Yep.
download. There
Yep.
it is.
There it is. There it is.
Start building your profile.
Yep.
Start getting your friends.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's after you're blown away by the graphics.
I felt like a balloon
and
shooting.
when they get the app, Danny, what do they do first? Because like remember the original version, like I don't know how to get in, phone number, what do I do?
You're going to have to go through onboarding again, but when you type in your phone number, that's going to pull back your old account and all of your previous favorites. So you're not going to lose anything.
Good point.
If you had a previous account.
What if you've changed your phone number?
If you changed your phone number, I want you to email info@circles.com. Send us the old number, the new number, your first and last name, and we'll work on migrating your account over for you.
So just go to circleswithans.com. Now, if people are like, I've never seen this, I want to see this. I don't, it's kind of that. Okay, I hear these guys talking. I want to see it to believe it, which we encourage.
Absolutely.
We're not.
Please.
We're proud of this product.
Yes.
When they first get it, what information are they going to have to give you? Remember the very first time we started? Like, what are you going to do with my information?
Oh man.
Well, phone number is a requirement. We
Yeah.
want to make sure everybody has a real phone too. We don't accept Google Voice numbers. We don't want people coming in, spinning up fake accounts, and that's what leads to a lot of the toxicity is
Yes.
being anonymous. But
yeah.
location and contacts are optional. Obviously, it's a much better experience if you allow both. It's easier to invite friends in. You get better
Yeah.
recommendations if we know where you're at. That's a personal preference. It's up to you.
A couple emails here, rad@radradio.com. We'll start with this from Justin. Ever since you guys started talking about this, I wanted to invest in Circles, but have never been in a financial spot to be able to do so. Now that I am a little bit more financially stable, I'm curious, what is the minimum investment required, and am I able to make multiple investments down the line?
The minimum is $250. You can make multiple investments down the line. One thing to consider is that if we're raising a bunch of money, we're growing the app, we're bringing in a bunch of users, we would like to raise a valuation along the way. So there may be periods of time in this campaign where we close down for a day, increase the valuation, and then keep raising.
Kathy says, my husband and I invested during the first round. We are old. Yes, Rob, old. What? Rob, old? And would like to know if we can add our children as beneficiaries on WeFunder
Wait,
now.
because you're close to death if there are.
Yeah, you can.
You just do that through your WeFunder profile? Kind of thing, or
There's actually a really good link. I'm going to drop it in WeFunder. I was reading on I think it's investor.gov, and it talks about how crowdfunding works. It's called Regulation CF for crowdfunding. It's this new concept, and it's kind of like a playbook, answers questions just like that.
okay, a couple questions. People are going in and they're downloading the app. Let's see if we can. Because a lot of this is user error. Some of it maybe we missed something. Anthony says, "This is so exciting. My wife and I invested a few years ago, but we can't use it in Reno. Will the new version work in Reno?"
If you tried to download it like a couple weeks ago, we had a blocker because we were only allowing it for Sac State University students. And so if you were not in college and didn't pick Sacramento State, you couldn't get in. So anybody that got stuck or is blocked in any way, easiest thing to do, just delete the app and just start over. Just go back through onboarding and you should breeze right through.
Josh wrote in and said, I logged back into the Circles app and it said it's not available in my region.
Yep, same thing. Yep,
Install the new version.
Yeah. So,
Gosh, I am even up to date on that. You have to delete an old one.
Yeah, exactly. And you can go to the App Store and just hit the update button too.
No name on this one says, I'm trying to invest, but it wants me to use Apple Pay. How else can I pay?
You should be able to use a credit card. You can even write a check.
Yeah.
Multiple ways.
Eric says, I just invested $500 in the Circles app. When this segment started, the amount invested was $122,000. Now it's up to $209,000. The maggot army is out in full force.
Nice.
That's fun to
Awesome.
watch.
And all that, whatever that difference is, just under $100,000, all of you get to point to the maggots who wait until tomorrow and say, ha ha, my dollar's worth more than your dollar. Brianna has a great question. How are you going to stop users from making it a toxic environment?
The great question. And we have painstakingly developed the app with guardrails to make it all about positivity and make it pretty much impossible to be negative. So for instance, to even write anything anywhere in the app, you have to favorite something first. You have to favorite the profile before you can write what we call a trust tip. So you're favoriting it. You're saying, I love this place. You're broadcasting, I love this place. Try it out. So if you said something negative, you're saying, I love this place. Oh, I hate this place. It's kind of weird. And so
Yes.
we also, unlike Yelp, we give businesses the opportunity to delete trust tips, move them around, manage their photos, all that
That's
stuff.
huge.
So yeah, like Yelp won't let you delete a profile. They won't let you edit anything on there. Like, once a fake review shows up, sorry.
That's good for people to know. It's very business friendly.
Very, very, yes.
By the way, those of you that are emailing in like specific questions about using the app, I'm pulling them all out. Danny's going to have a very busy day of writing back to all of you to get you through. Nick says, I invested twice since the start of Circles. How does it work as far as valuation? If I invest again today, is it at the new market valuation or does it go under the original investment? Oh, you're trying to get around the system there, huh?
Yeah, it does like lock in the time that you invest is your valuation. So yeah, and we're still, I mean, obviously we're still relatively small if we hit the numbers that we're planning and expecting to get to match some of our big competitors out there into the billions of dollars. So
yeah, back to the personal example earlier. So when I first got in, Danny, the valuation, it was worth $4 million on paper. Now it's $26 million. Okay, I can put more money in now if we're going to get to $1 billion. If I believe we're going to get to $1 billion. I mean, come on.
We're splitting hairs at these numbers. Again, on paper.
Yes, on paper. Kevin says, can you invest less than $250?
You cannot. We set our minimum at 250.
And you can go right to radradio.com, takes you right to the WeFunder page, walks you through. If you're having issues like only let me pay on Apple Pay, there's something going on there that it's not set up that way.
And for people that like don't know or realize, like on paper, that's common. That's how it always is.
Yep.
This isn't just two circles.
People are downloading the new version, the newest version of Circles, which it really sounds like the right way to do that. Delete the old one.
That's
And when
a
you
good
put your phone number in, you get everything back. You're not losing all your stuff.
Exactly.
Heidi says, holy moly, the graphics on the Circles app is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Matthew says, my mind is blown over this version of Circles. So much better than what was in the beta, which was pretty damn good.
Nice.
Sharon says, a lot of people are doing this because it's like exciting, but they don't get it. She says, and she admits it, she says, what is the dollar to share ratio? I invested $500. When Circles goes public, how many shares would I get? I'm just not very familiar with any of this.
Yeah, it's a moving target. So I think we're at like roughly, we're still under $1 a share roughly in this value cap. But
Approximately, yeah.
can explain.
I would. The best thing to do is read through WeFunder's website. It's all there, and for legal reasons, we've been instructed to guide people to WeFunder. Go to radradio.com.
And just click right on the homepage. It's splashed all over. It's taken over our website, and it gets you right to WeFunder. Daniel says, I just invested $1,000. I'm retired, so this won't kill me. But, man, what a treat if this takes off, as I anticipate it will. Thanks for the opportunity. Anthony says, I have invested every time you've done this. I have $16,000 invested. I am so happy to hear where we are at with Circles. You all have done a wonderful job on this app, and I cannot wait to see where this will go. Yes, Rob, I know that I can wait. John had mentioned that if it hits Twitter sales status, well, I calculated out what I would be worth. Holy crap, $33 million? That would be awesome.
That would
That
be.
would be.
That would be.
That would be.
We would love that. But
It happens all the time.
it
so
does.
it can happen.
We're not promising it happens here.
No, but it can happen. It
can.
absolutely
Yes.
can happen.
Yes, and
100%.
that's been the dream. That's been the plan. And again, I think this is an odd benefit of the fact that here in about 3 minutes we're actually going to go to the last hour is going to be best of. You guys can spend that hour really diving into this app because you hear this initial reaction, and I'm telling you that's understated. When you really start digging through, because the first time I started playing with the new app, I was like, I'm going to find something wrong with this. Something I don't like. and every time it blows you away as you do it. And again, it's Circles with an S. The idea is that you follow people you trust, whether they're friends, they're known friends, friends of friends, or jerks on the radio like us.
Well, and you'll see that Rob doesn't trust me.
Yeah,
Because
and you
I'm
create.
not in his circle of
There's
trust.
the whole thing where you create a I got to redo everything, and you still won't be in it, by the way.
Whatever, I'm taking you out of mine.
Well, that'll show me. and then when you're in that position where you're looking for insert thing here, because there's so many categories, even movies, TV shows, books, landscaping, auto repair. I can't even list them all. You just go in, okay, well, I trust Rob. So you go into Rob's page. And don't do this right now. I got to really update to this. And you just, all you have to do is hit a couple buttons. And you pick the category. Oh, there, pick your area, and there it is. Boom. That's it. Now you know what I believe in that area, and you do it with your friends, you do it with your family. whatever. That's the idea behind Sircles. That's how you use it. You can get the app right now in the App Store. It's Sircles. If you're excited about this idea and you want to invest right away, go to radradio.com. You hit the button, you go right to the WeFunder page. If you want to do that tomorrow, if you want to do that Sunday, fine. It'll still be there. It's just a matter of the earlier you get in, the more your money is worth on paper. And if this thing really explodes like we all believe it will, and I think you believe it will believe it will when you see it, then that's where it's worth more money. And it's also this kind of thing. If you're listening, you go, well, I got to talk to my spouse about this. Well, that's why the WeFunder page is there. That's why this segment is here. You can just sit them down and have them watch or listen to this and go to the WeFunder page, which you get to from radradio.com, and all the information's there. You guys take the weekend, and at some point you decide, okay, we want in. Matthew says, I just invested $1,000. I'm super excited. When does the payment get verified?
Should be pretty quick.
Let's see. Kaylee says, my husband owns a business. I'm wondering how he can be added to Sircles as he's not in a physical store.
Added to Sircles in terms of...
Yeah, what's the business? We'd have to know first, right? Can an online store be part
I mean, we literally have every business that's in Google because we use a Google API to populate all the profiles. So if your business is on Google, you're going to be in Sircles. Go ahead and just favorite your own business, and it's there forever.
Michaela says, I'm in Washington State. What's the best way to get the word out about Sircles? I don't have much market in my area. What's the best way to start market in my area?
The best way to do it is to bring in your circle of friends. Start using it with your friends.
Yeah.
Things tend to grow from small circles.
William has a great one. He says, I'm trying to find the app, but it doesn't show up in my app store. Is it just spelled Sircles with a C? No.
It's an S.
Sircles. That's Sircles with an S.
That's how you spell Sircles.
And you can download it.
That's how we do now.
So C. That's right. Now it looks wrong.
I know, right?
Right. And
My
when
autocorrect.
yes, when we text each other about a circle, it autocorrects the S. So you can see the app. You can get the app. The app's free. It's available in the download right now. You can invest right away. Go to radradio.com. Hit the button. You'll go right to WeFunder. As promised, John and Danny will be back a week from tomorrow. There will be an update. We'll have an update on and by the way, we anticipate, we hope, we'll be updating you every day between now and Friday in terms of is the early bird special still available? Because when we hit $400,000 raised, then the valuation goes up. It's still available.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, again, a matter of, all right, well, my dollar's not worth as much as Matthew's is, but your dollar's still going to be worth a hell of a lot if we get done. And we expect to have some pretty major announcements a week from tomorrow because this is just the beginning, as amazing as this app looks. Anything we forgot?
No, just can't believe how fast that time went by.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.